Hey everyone, Robert here, author of Expansion Mastery, the practical guide to living a fully engaged life. Are you ready to start living life to the fullest? Are you ready and willing to transform yourself and your life from ordinary to extraordinary? Well, this is going to be a special, brief edition of the Fully Engaged Life. Welcome back to the show, everyone. As I mentioned, this is going to be a rather short episode. This is just sort of a supplementary episode. And why I'm doing this is because there was a question that was asked of me over the weekend that was really profound, and I wanted to make sure that I addressed this. And it doesn't take long to cover the pertinent information. So, before we get to that, it may be a little bit noisy in the background. I apologize. For the past 3 weeks, we've had construction here doing repairs where I live, and now they are power washing and painting the entire place. So it's a little noisy. This, too, has put me behind in the production of the breathing mastery program that I'm doing, but rest assured I am continuing to work on it. I am writing everything out that I want for all of the levels, which there are going to be 7 different modules for this program. So it'll come out, it's coming out, it's being worked on. So the topic of this program is the Great Consciousness Shift, and there's not a lot getting out in terms of the public about this, and what seems to be getting out is getting really distorted by those who are putting out. So what I'd like to do is just offer you a little information, and then I'm going to get to the question that I was asked. The Great Consciousness Shift. What is this? This is supposed to be where our consciousness rises, and humanity reaches a new level. Some of the New Age people say, oh, we're going to enter a new dimension and leave our physical bodies. We're going to be doing all of this. I don't know anything about all of that. All I know is, from a very practical standpoint, what I understand was supposed to be causing the shift, and what I've been monitoring and validating through the behavior of the electromagnetic field of the Earth, the interaction with the sun, and different things that are going on in the cosmos kind of support the information I'm going to share with you. So, ideally, around 2012 or so, we were supposed to begin this awakening. And while we did, it was very purposefully slowed down. What was it that slowed it down? Well, the unnatural byproduct of fluoride in the water that we're drinking. No, it's not the natural fluoride found in the ground. It's actually a very hazardous chemical that they just plainly call fluoride so that we don't think too much about it. The preservatives in the food, the pharmaceuticals in our water, everything in the pollution of our air, our water, and our food. And all of that is being compounded by all of the medications that people are on. And so now we have all these prescription medications that are dampening this. So all of these things have gone into dampening and slowing and even prohibiting this great consciousness shift in human beings. Rest assured, the vibrational frequency of the planet is still rising. The vibrational frequency of the electromagnetic field, the great field, the ocean that we all return to, this is still increasing. And I was asked the question over the weekend, okay, in regards to the consciousness shift, we know that there are certain practices that need to take place in order for us to awaken. Some of these are based in simple things of meditation. Others are in internal alchemical practices. So how can the consciousness shift just wake everybody up? The truth of the matter is, it doesn't. Here's how it works, the way I understand it. As the vibration of the field that permeates all things in the known universe rises, it brings the vibration of various planets and things up with it. We can see this by the increase in the frequency of the Earth and the electromagnetic field of the Earth. Now, when the Earth's magnetic field rises, when that increases, it brings the field, our electromagnetic field of human beings, it brings the human electromagnetic field and its vibrational frequency up with it. Our vibrational frequency is directly linked to that of the Earth. We are intimately and deeply linked to the Earth on a vibrational level. And there is an immense amount of scientific data to back this up. So all you got to do is do your own research on it. If the frequency of the field around us rises, the frequency of the Earth rises, and it brings our frequency up, do we just become instantly awakened and attuned to our higher consciousness? No. Unfortunately not. It would be fantastic if it worked that way. But in reality, this is how I understand it works. When the Earth's vibrational frequency rises, it brings our vibrational frequency up. We know that a higher vibrational frequency is what connects us with divine, with the higher consciousness, with the source, right? So the higher that vibrational frequency is, the more we are in tune to emotions such as love and appreciation and joy, the more our heart is open and remains open. So we will begin to awaken to some of the illusion of normal life. We'll see through some of that illusion. We see some of that happening right now, right? We see people seeing through the things that the people in politics and religion have been doing. We can see some of the things that have been hidden from people for 100 years. And we're starting to see through this facade and illusion, and we're starting to see that. So that's about as much as we're going to awaken without the practices. In order to actually continue to raise our vibration, in order to attain higher states of consciousness, we still need to engage the practices. The benefit is this: it's easier to do at a time when your vibration is higher. If your vibration is being naturally raised by the planet and by the field that permeates all things, a source, then you've got a leg up. It's going to be easier and faster to make progress with those practices. But the practices themselves remain a very important part of the process. Now, as I stated earlier, all of these artificial things, these chemicals that are being poured into the air, into our water, into our food, these things are meant to cause a sense of disconnection between the human being and the planet, thereby disrupting the connection of the vibrational frequency between us as human beings and the planet. In this way, as the planet's vibration continues to rise, a lot of people's vibration will not rise. It may even fall. And this is why I have been stressing the absolute need for meditative practices and energy practices. You need to be engaged in meditation. You need to be engaged in movement practices that stimulate the vital life force within the body. You also need to protect yourself. You need to protect your vibration. You're protecting yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, vibrationally right now by making sure that you eat fresh, organic foods, that you stay away from anything artificial, that you get off any medications that you don't absolutely need. And I'm not telling you to stop taking your medications. It's not medical advice. You got to talk to your doctor about that, of course. But you need to be free of these sources of chemicals that dampen your vibrational frequency through altering the chemistry of your body and brain. You have to filter the water. You have to have good water. You can't drink water that's filled with fluoride and pharmaceuticals that alter the chemistry around your brain and in your body, as well as dampen your vibration, lowering it. So the process is pretty simple. Frequency is rising in the universe. in the source, in universal field, whatever you want to call it. It's affecting the frequency of the earth. Thereby, the frequency of the earth affects the frequency of human beings. If we stay clean of these harmful chemicals, then the planet can naturally have the positive effect of raising our vibrational frequency. And then if we engage in the practices, breathing practices, meditation, energy practices, and eventually the practices we need to open the door to higher consciousness, then we have the best possible opportunity to attain these higher states of consciousness in this lifetime, in this historic window of opportunity. It is this window of opportunity afforded to us in our lifetime, which is not staying open forever. It's already beginning to close. We have this window of opportunity, and this was spoken about in so many native cultures, from the Aztecs to the Mayans to the Hopi to you name it. So many Native American tribes. It was written about in various cultures throughout the world, telling us, preparing us for this time. So it's up to us. We have to make a choice. If we want it, we have to go after it wholeheartedly right now. You quite literally do not have any time to waste. Or we can make the choice not to. We have free will. We have this sort of power that we can decide whether we want to attain higher states of consciousness or stay in lower states of consciousness. However, we must choose wisely. The time is now, my friends. It's time to wake up. The second part of the question I was asked went on to inquire about the methods for attaining higher states of consciousness. Are certain practices such as internal alchemy necessary to attain higher states of consciousness? Because there are many systems that just teach meditation, just using the mind, and really nothing to do with the body. The answer to that is that the body is intimately linked with the mind, and the body is a tool that is a necessary part of the process. This is why there are so many practices dealing with the mind and then an equal amount of practices dealing with the body. Even in Chan, which is where the Japanese system of Zen came from, it, along with many other systems, contain energy practices and other such practices dealing with the breath, the vital life force, and even the chemistry within our body, the chemistry of our blood, our cerebral spinal fluid. All of these things are very important parts that all come together into attaining the ultimate highest states of consciousness or awakening that so few people in human history have ever done. We can attain particular states of awakening and become very awakened, but to actually walk through the door in our head, we have to be able to bring all of these aspects of practice together. Historically, this is one of the things that Siddhartha Gautama figured out, the Buddha, right? Through first engaging in practices with ascetic monks who totally ignored their body, were on the verge of starvation and these sorts of things. And he quickly realized that that was not the way. It is not just the mind, but the body must be involved as well. It is a combination of these practices of body and mind. Please make sure and visit me at www.expansionmastery.com. Get your autographed copy of Expansion Mastery, the Practical Guide to Living a Fully Engaged Life, as well as the newly revised and expanded ebook on reinventing yourself through realignment. And soon, very soon, I promise, the Breath Mastery program will be launched on that site. Make sure that you're on the Expansion Mastery family list by entering your name and email address on the website for updates on that and for notices to make sure that you are the first to know when that program is made available. In the meantime, please make sure and subscribe and like and share and do all of that social media stuff. And most of all, please make sure and subscribe to my YouTube page and make sure that you are sharing these podcast episodes on your social media. This has been your Consciousness Shift News Brief. Until next time, my friends, I wish you the very best in your practices and your attainment of higher consciousness. Take care.